I was listening to a video that went viral, and the Shade Room posted the video clip, and it had comedian Godfrey and singer Neo and comedian actor Nick Cannon discussing their experiences with girls in high school. And Nick Cannon was saying that he was the good guy and he always wrote the poems and had the flowers, and he never could get the girls. But he said he would just notice that all of the bad boys would get the girls that he wanted in high school. So he decided, I'm going to be a bad boy now. And it's interesting because all of these entertainers were stating that women like bad boys, and the only way you get a woman is if you are a bad boy. So, of course, this is referencing heterosexual men. Well, I have my own thoughts about who is really heterosexual or not, because I don't think Neo is heterosexual, but that's just me. And there's been rumors about Nick Cannon questioning his sexuality, but those are alleged rumors. But Nick Cannon is very famous. He has a very successful history as a comedian and an actor. And now he's popular for being the dad of multiple baby mamas having children by him who he's not married to. So I'm not sure how many children he has, but he has multiple children from different women who he's not married to. Now, I will give him credit, he was married to Mariah Carey, and I believe that was his first two children. He had a boy and a girl with singer Mariah Carey, and they divorced. And it seemed like he just went crazy after, the divorce with Mariah Carey, and he started getting involved with all of these different women and having multiple babies. And I don't believe that is a good example of a man who is just having illegitimate children. Yes, he's wealthy, he has money, he has fame, he can financially take care of the children. However, he's not able to be in the household with his children because they're from different mothers. However, supposedly he continues to have relationships with these women. I don't know. I don't believe he's in a polyamorous relationship. I could be wrong. I haven't heard that he specifically is into polygyny, because polygyny is an agreement between the man and all of the women involved to be under the same household and to be in a romantic sexual relationship unanimously. So I don't know if that is his situation. I don't think it is, because I think these are just different women who he's been involved with, of course, obviously sexually, because these women have had babies from him. And I don't believe these women are all together in a relationship with this one guy. So that's why I'm saying I don't believe it's a polygyny relationship. He's just having multiple children from different women. And I personally don't think that is healthy or wise. Sure, you can do it, and he clearly is showing that he's doing it. But I think it also helps you to understand the mindset of why he is being the parent of multiple children. And based off of this discussion he had, he decided he didn't want to be the good guy anymore. He wanted to be a bad boy to get women. And a lot of guys, they want money, they want fame to get women. Nick Cannon, he he's not a unattractive man, but I suspiciously think that Nick Cannon started having all of these children out of wedlock because of the alleged gay rumors that were going on around about him. And a man will try to prove his manhood, that he's straight, by having multiple children with different women. And that happens. But I'm not saying that Nick Cannon is gay or bisexual, but there's been rumors about his sexuality. But let's just go to what he stated. He stated in this viral video that he didn't want to get his heart broken anymore by girls, so he decided to turn into a bad boy to get women. And he made a comment after the Shade Room posted the video. He stated in the comment section, "What y'all think? Is it facts or we tripping?" And I saw some of the commenters reply to Nick Cannon's comment, and they told him that he was tripping. I saw a lot of people saying he was tripping. And I agree, because why change your whole personality? Why change who you are as a person? Why change your belief system based on an external factor? In this case, why, as a man, are you choosing to stop being a good guy because you want to get women who want bad boys? That's outside of your control, because you don't have any control over the way a woman thinks. And you really don't know, honestly, what that woman is thinking. All you're seeing is what's going on the outside. So if she does choose bad boys intentionally, then that is a reflection of her character. But why take on her energy? Why take on the mindset of another guy who is a bad boy, as you said, and be like him, because you're not being your authentic, genuine self? A woman will like you as a man if she genuinely likes you. So I believe that they're tripping, but there's other reasons why men do what they do to get women. But ultimately, a lot of heterosexual men do completely change their look. Like, they'll change the way they walk. They'll even change their mannerisms, the way they talk. They'll go work out and get all of these muscles to impress women and get women. And ultimately, when they're old enough to make money, they'll do whatever they can to earn money. Some people do legally what is right to earn money. Some men are involved in illegal circumstances to make money, if you know what I mean. And honestly, when you're in high school, the young girls, many of them are not looking at the guys in high school, not because necessarily something is wrong with the guy. And I'm referring to heterosexual women, or if you're fluid in your sexuality, if you are bisexual or pansexual. These young girls who are in high school, they're not looking at the guys in high school as if they're a problem or a nuisance. When you look at the age of a woman, or rather a young girl or a teenager girl, and she is the same age as a teenager boy, their actual physical maturing is different. Like, the woman, her body matures at an earlier age than a man's body. And so she's not going to be attracted to a lot of the boys in grade school or even high school, because they haven't physically matured. So a lot of the girls who are in high school, they're looking at the guys who play sports in high school because they have a different build, a different physique that's more mature than the average guy in high school. So that's why a lot of girls go for the jocks, the guys who play sports. And then beyond that, girls will go and date guys who are older than them, and they could be in college, for example. I don't recommend this. I'm absolutely not condoning this, but a lot of girls will do that because they're looking for to dating a guy who is more on their maturity level, whether that's physically and or mentally. So for Nick Cannon, and I'm using him as an example because of his statements, it was probably nothing wrong with him necessarily as a male teenager, but he probably just wasn't at the maturity level that those girls wanted. And also maybe he was not in a position to where he was able to really have a girlfriend, because some girls are actually looking at what can he do to support our relationship. We can't go out on a date. He doesn't have any money. So that is a factor as well. So girls look at that also. And you just have to realize that as you mature and as you change, you will be fit for the right kind of girl that you're supposed to be with. So changing and warping your whole personality, the way you look, just to get a girl from high school, I do not recommend it, and it's really illogical. But I wanted to give a little bit of insight from a lesbian perspective. If this situation that Nick Cannon and so many young guys experience with women, if this actually is the same situation that lesbians experience. In other words, when you are a lesbian and you're in high school and you want a girl that you like, you see a pretty girl in school that you are attracted to and you want to get to know her, does a lesbian actually turn into a bad girl in order to get women? So I'm going to address that here today. I want to say that being a lesbian in high school, it was a completely different world than what it is today for me. But even today, as at the recording of this video being 2024, you still have to be careful being a lesbian, because there's a lot of stigma, there's a lot of homophobia and discrimination. And I just want to say that when you're in high school, I'm going to use high school as the setting, you are going through a lot of changes, with changes in your body. You're maturing as a young woman. You're trying to decide where you fit in the world. You're figuring out who you are. And then it makes it even more dramatic when you are not like most women, because you're not heterosexual, you're a lesbian. So our experiences as lesbians is completely different from the experience of a heterosexual teenager. So I'll just say that you do need to be focused on learning while you're in high school, getting the knowledge that you need while you're in high school, so that you can decide if you want to go to college or if you want to just go strictly into the workforce. You have a lot of decisions that you are going to make really soon. And if you're thinking about dating and you are in high school, I will say that dating is not a priority because you have time to meet women. But I understand that you want to get to know yourself more and you want to explore and learn more about yourself and about other women. And I'm going to say, teenagers, young women interchangeably, because when you're in high school, you are developing into a young woman, and you're in your teenage years. You noticed that you are attracted to women now. And here's the thing, when you are a lesbian and you're in high school, you do observe a lot. Women observe a lot, period. We're very observant. We're very intuitive. And you probably are going to be a little bit more observant as a lesbian because of the simple fact that we know that most women are into men. And so we're going to pay attention to girls who are different, who are like us. Girls who are lesbians will really make our day. It'll stand out to us because there's not too many of us. And I remember being in high school. I remember I used to play volleyball when I was in high school. I used to play volleyball. And I played basketball very briefly. But I knew a lot of girls in high school who were lesbians. And it was just common to me. Even though I knew it was uncommon to be a lesbian, it was very common because I was just in that type of setting. So fortunately, I saw a lot of girls who were lesbians, and we really didn't have any hang-ups about being lesbian. I, of course, knew I was a lesbian, but I was not out. And it's because I came from a very strict homophobic religious family. And I was really careful not to reveal my sexuality. And I just really didn't date. I didn't date anyone. Of course, there were people who may have liked me, but I just really didn't date anyone because I wasn't into guys, and I really didn't like any of the women I was particularly around, but I still knew I was a lesbian. And I know that there were girls who were attracted to me, but I didn't date them. I didn't start getting involved with women until probably after high school. However, my experience in high school was a time for me to get to know myself a little bit about lesbians. And what I noticed when I say, do lesbians act like the way Nick Cannon did? Do they decide, oh, well, I can't get the girls I want because they all seem to want bad boys, so I'm going to turn into a bad boy so I can get the girls? Honestly, from my experience, and I'm speaking about my lesbian perspective, but for me, I didn't have that issue. I was always myself. I was very smart. I was quiet. I was an introvert. I liked making good grades. I was just really a focused young lady, and I was just myself. I think that I was very aware that there were the popular in crowd, or the girls who were popular, basically. You always have that. You have the people who are popular. You have the jocks. You have what they call the nerds. You have the people who are with their own little group. That's the way it's segmented in high school. And honestly, that doesn't stop. That goes on into adulthood. But that's part of some of it is a part of your personality. Some of it is about just conforming to societal standards of trying to fit in to society. So you have to be able to differentiate from the two. But I didn't have where I was looking at women, young girls, and saying, and when I say that, I mean young women, teenagers, because I'm in high school. I'm like, I wasn't looking at them like, oh, I need to turn into a bad girl so I can get me a girl. I never had that mindset because I guess because I was still trying to discover how I would navigate through life as a lesbian. So it was very complex because I wasn't able to be myself because of the pressure from my upbringing, religious, homophobic upbringing that prevented me from being out. But that didn't keep me from meeting other lesbian young women in school. I was able to meet them in school, but it was kind of like this is where it ends. It was like you saw each other at school, but once you stepped off of the school premises, you went back to reality. And it was like you're back at home, you're back at church, you're back in the neighborhood. Suddenly nobody is gay anymore. Nobody is lesbian anymore. So you're back to protocol. But it was refreshing to be able to see that there were other girls who were like me, but I couldn't fully express myself because I was not ready to come out. And I really let myself be free once I got to college. But that's another story. But right now, I just want to say that girls liked me for me. And I guess because of my experience, I didn't have to try to change myself into a bad girl. I was never like in the in crowd, but I was someone who, I was never bullied. I was known. People knew who I was. Like, I didn't get bullied. People just, they didn't treat me mean or anything. So I didn't have the experience of being bullied in high school, and my heart goes out to people who were. But I just kind of was always a very independent person. I did my own thing. That's how I've always been. So that's how you have to know your personality, who you are. But when it's no longer your personality, when you're just trying to fit in, that's what Nick Cannon was doing to try to get a girl. He changed his personality to get girls. But that's not who he really was. And I think that's affecting him till this day as a grown man. That's why he has all those multiple children out of wedlock. But because because I was a lesbian, I was a woman, and other lesbian women, we don't act like heterosexual women because we have different mindsets and different intentions with women. So like, for example, a heterosexual teenager girl, she might hate on another girl because she's jealous of her because she's pretty and she gets a lot of attention from boys. Where a lesbian teenager, she wouldn't have that same mindset. She's looking at the lesbian girl like, oh, she's pretty. I like her. I want to get to know her. So that was my experience, and that was how lesbians treated me. If they liked me, I remember one time I was in the hallway, I was at my locker. I don't know what I was doing, and this girl just came up to me and started holding my hand. As I don't know, it was just, girls would just do stuff like that. And she didn't have any fear or shame. She just started holding my hand while I'm at the locker, as if she just that was her way of letting me know she liked me. And I was like, okay. It was interesting. But that's just it. As a lesbian, I didn't change my personality. I didn't try to impress girls in high school. I was just me. And I think that when you are genuinely, authentically yourself, that's going to draw women to you automatically. They're going to like you because women are very intuitive. Women pick up on a lot that they don't even tell you. Like, and I when I say women, I mean no matter what your sexual orientation is. Heterosexual women, bisexual women, lesbian women. Women are very smart and intuitive. Heterosexual women, They pick up on the guys that are trying to impress them. They know the guys that are changing their whole personality to get with them. Like the girls that were popular and Real Pretty Women. If she doesn't like you in high school, what makes you think that she's going to like you just because you turn your personality into a bad boy? If anything, she's going to dislike you even more because you're doing too much. You're not being real. That girl that likes that bad boy, who you think is a bad boy, you don't really know that guy. You don't know what drew her to that guy. Girls like guys for different reasons. You may be thinking she likes him because he's a bad boy. She probably likes him because his body is muscular. He has a very confident attitude. Whereas you're not confident in your own skin. You don't necessarily, I'm not saying you have to go work out and have big muscles, but a lot of times girls, young women, and women in general, they're looking at how confident you are. And if you're not confident, that's a huge turnoff. So if you turned into a bad boy, women will pick up on that. And a lot of them will take advantage of you. If you have money, they'll take advantage of your money. They'll just use you. And that's why it's very careful that you be yourself at all times. Don't try to change who you are to please another person, because you are always going to be a slave to that person. So that's all I have for now. My name is Giselle Wallace. I am a certified life coach and author. If you would like a one-on-one life coaching session, please contact me. My information is here on YouTube in the description box. Thank you for listening.